Pronounced, defined, used in lexical dispatch. Caveat or caveat, noun, a statement that limits a more general statement. Qualification, warning, caution, reservation. Interminable, adjective, interminably, very long and boring. Endless, eternal, never-ending. I'd like to make a few preliminary caveats at the outset. Caveat: every state has their own definition of a firearm. The one caveat that I would point out is that those were predictions made a couple of days before the election. I most often agree to help, with the caveat that my aid wouldn't throw me into trouble. Science is very important, with a caveat that it is the very science we worship that motivates people to be independent, autonomous, work on their own mastery and craft. As consumers in shops and of advertising, we have mostly absorbed by now a caveat emptor sensibility. Even with this caveat, the play's final scene went a long way towards extracting an ethical response from the audience. A caveat to this recommendation is that the MMR vaccine should be given sooner if the risk of exposure to measles is high, such as in the setting of an outbreak. My caveat about blueberries being low maintenance only if given a good start comes into play here. The same caveat applies even more strongly to our present, uncontrolled influx from the Third World. Summer in Russia is precious and brief, winter interminable. There was nothing out there, nothing, just darkness. Endless, interminable. The chapters describing the penny store do seem interminable, especially when viewed in the context of the story as a whole. I stuck to the corner and waited out the interminable hours, thankful on those occasions that I had homework to occupy myself. He stared at her open-mouthed for what seemed like an interminable length of time, his expression frozen. The wait for the flight, about 30 minutes late, seemed interminable as hundreds of family members stood in a chilly wind on the tarmac. The two are in many ways interminably connected, a point almost every national journalist seems to miss. The process had been going on for more than a year, dragged out interminably by the lawyers. After a seemingly interminable succession of severe storms and record snowfalls, the brutal winter was finally drawing to an end. It is perpetually doomed, therefore, to interminable discussions of the same issues.